Hi guys and welcome to ThrustZone.com. This is Mohit Soni. Finally we have the Jeep Meridian with us. This is the 7-seater SUV that has come from the manufacturer. Jeep says the fact that this is an entirely new product. There's been a lot of changes to make sure that it is best SUV in its class. So here we are with our first impressions, with almost half a day spent with it. What is it like? We as always begin with the exterior and interior details, and then we'll jump to the driving part. But there's also going to be an off-road part because Jeep is very focused as always about the off-road section. It says that it can do a lot of things its competitors can probably dream of, and it's what has always defined Jeep. So we're going to do that as well. As always, let's begin with the design, and you can see the fact that this car is a very good looking SUV. I think it's one of the most sophisticated looking SUVs out there. Jeep is also using that word, and we also again will comply with that because we also think that it looks very good. It looks a very premium SUV. You can see with the 18-inch alloy wheels, they fill up the wheel wells rather well, despite the fact that it should have some clearance for off-roading. That's the huge Meridian badging, and as you can see on the side, we really love the dual tone scheme, the new glass to door ratio. As you can see, the glass and metal ratio is slightly on the higher side. The door is bigger, the glass is smaller, so that gives it a very premium sort of a coupe look. But of course there is no coupe here, but even with the square design, they've been able to pull off that aspect. I think that's fantastic. And at the back, as you can see, it is again a very distinct looking rear design we've seen in a very long time. It is completely different, and it's been the highlight of the Meridian because it's been grabbing attention ever since it was unveiled a couple of weeks ago. You guys have been also seeing the fact that the rear looks really impressive. That's the LED lighting, and that's the turn indicators. This is of course the limited variant 4x2, and a look here as well. You can see it's got a lot of size and proportions. It looks a lot bigger. It's one of those SUVs which looks how it is in real life and how in video. It is an imposing SUV. As you can see, the bumper starts from here, so goes all the way till down. It's got a dual tone effect because it's an off-roader, of course, but you still get sort of the skid plate, chrome, and reflectors and fog lamps at the back. And since we are at the back, let me show you what is the boot space like. As you can see, it's got electric tailgate, reversing camera sensors, and that's how the rear looks like with all the seats up. I think this is quite commendable, but it could have been bigger. This, of course, it is based to a certain extent on the Compass. A bit more boot space with the 7 seats on would have been much more impressive, but I think this is still does a good job. This is giving you an idea what kind of storage you can get here, and surprisingly, the button is here to close it, not on the tailgate. Yeah, that's your new fuel filler and the AdBlue tank. Let's start with the back. What I've noticed is that you get decent legroom, very good knee room, and 3 abreast should not be an issue if 3 normal size adults are sitting side by side. And the glass area is pretty good. You thought it would feel a bit claustrophobic, but it does not, because the seats that I'm sitting on here are slightly raised, and with the glass area being right in my face, there is no claustrophobia. And of course there won't be overall as well because of this massive panoramic sunroof that is on offer. AC vents, charging point. It's just the vents and the control, but the AC is working really well in our conditions right now. It's getting hotter and in Chandigarh here, and it's still holding on quite well. And that's the look at the dashboard. It's a familiar look because that's what we saw in the Compass as well, and we were really impressed back then, and we are very happy to see this dashboard is here too because it looks very good. Let's check it out in person. That's the small space to keep some stuff. Door pads could have been bigger and better, and on the door pads as well, you get this very nice leather that is running with no contrast stitching though, but it looks nice, feels premium. Piano black finish is here. There's a tweeter on here, and that's of course the usual keyless entry and go. Of course, you have push button start as well. Getting inside, you have memory seats, and a full digital instrument cluster, which is always welcome. You can switch the views from here, from this button. There's a whole host of information that is on offer with the car. That this is for cruise control, this is for navigating through everything, and as you can see, it works quite quickly, very nicely. Headlamp switch, illumination, headlamp adjuster is here. Those AC vents are small, they have their own rotary thing here. It's not difficult as it looks like, and really like the soft touch materials here, very nice finish on the dashboard here. It looks really impressive. It's different over the Compass though. That's the kind of space you have for cup holders. American car has a very large amount of cup holders, which is great. You can keep your phone here, and that is the wireless charger with charging points. Armrest has a decent amount of space. It's quite deep, and it is slidable, so it will adjust to your needs. The AC also, like I said, works really well. We are familiar with this screen, and in terms of features, it gets ventilated seats, a 360-degree camera, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is here, but it's still not wireless, and ventilated seats work really well. I think that's one of the defining features of the automotive industry, Indian automotive industry right now. Everybody is finally jumping on the bandwagon. Jeep did with the facelifted Compass. It's here in the Meridian as well. The Meridian gets an Alpine sound system, not a Meridian sound system. The Alpine sound system is quite good, and yeah, that's the start stop button right there, and that's it. That's the interior. I told you earlier that this screen is really impressive. It's quick, it's fast, it navigates through things really well. The sound system is great. There is navigation on offer, and you can go in the app section, favorite anything you like, and you can undo it as well. So that's pretty impressive. I really like the screen in the way it works. There's tons of options as well to go through. You've got navigation, ventilated seats are controlled from here, and on this side, as you can see, it's like this, so it's pretty impressive. And that is helping you in the temperature, because this is of course a dual zone climate control, auto start stop, traction control, parking sensors on and off, and that's what the interior is like. Quality definitely is really good, definitely far more superior than the Fortuner, in every single way. And these quilted seats and the Jeep logo, everything adds to the premium experience. And now, since we've explained you the interior and the exterior, let's jump to the driving part. So what is the Jeep Meridian like to drive? Well, this has the 2-liter motor which makes 170 bhp of power and 350 Nm of torque. What we've driven is the 9-speed automatic. Of course, we are yet to drive the 6-speed manual. Our first impressions of this engine is the fact that it continues to be a very good engine. It offers very good drivability in the city, if not excellent, and it has very good mid-range power, and the top end also is quite good. Of course, this is the same engine as the Compass, but here it is lugging a bit more weight, so the performance hasn't increased, but it hasn't decreased by any means. It still feels very punchy and throughout the rev range, so even having fun at the top end, pushing it on the highway should not be a problem at all. Our first impressions were very short, so that's what we can tell you right now, is the fact that the refinement is pretty good. The 9-speed automatic can feel a bit slow if you are really going for it, changing lanes and taking corners and things like that can make you feel that the 9-speed automatic is a bit slow. Jeep should have worked on that, but they've not. But for some reason in this car it doesn't feel that sluggish, or because for some reason it's logging in more weight, and that lazy aspect of the gearbox doesn't really bother you that much, because when you are on a comfortable cruise, it's not much of a bother. And when you are going to be loaded up with 5, 6, 7 people on board, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. It could be a bit of an issue when you're going uphill or anything like that, but only the enthusiast will notice that, and the rest of the normal Joe will not find it bad in any way. But like I said earlier, what we can also tell you about this engine is the fact that the refinement is spot on. Very little engine noise creeps inside the cabin. In fact, noise, vibration, harshness, wind noise, road noise is also kept well in check, and it's a very pleasant cabin to be in while driving the car. What we can also tell you is that it gets a 60-liter fuel tank, and the weight is at 1890 kgs. The former number, which is the fuel tank, could have been bigger and the curb width could have been slightly lighter, but then again, this is a very very well built car on the inside and the outside. It's got a tons of features, a 7-seater layout. It still has a good boot space. It has independent suspension all around, so there's a lot of weight that this car comes with, and it's not hampering anything, but of course it could have been better, which makes the the numbers, the acceleration, the top speed, the fuel efficiency slightly better. This also makes it one of the heaviest 7-seaters in this segment, of course, apart from any other ladder on frame competitor that you're thinking about. What is again very impressive about the Meridian is, we can tell you wholeheartedly, even our first impression is that the comfort of the Meridian is absolutely spot on. The ride quality is downright brilliant. It takes all the bad roads really well, no matter whatever bad roads you throw at it. If you're sitting at the front, if you're driving, if you're sitting at the back, we experienced all these three things, and we found out that the ride quality is really impressive. What you are going to be blown away if you test ride it in Bombay or any other city which has a lot of potholes, is that ride quality is absolutely stunning. It just takes care of almost everything. Of course, we were driving on mostly smooth roads, but when we were doing off-road, we also realized the fact that it's doing off-road so well. It's going through ditches, it's making those absolutely ludicrous levels of approach and departure angles, and the way it's tilting from one side or the other. You barely feel anything inside the cabin. So the insulation, the way the suspension is done, the way the chassis has been made, it feels very special. There's no other car that feels like that with a monocoque chassis. Even with a ladder on frame, it's very difficult to get. Somehow Jeep has gotten it right. Of course, they had the winning formula, the compass to look at for which it is loosely based on, and Jeep Meridian is fantastic in that aspect. Comfort is going to be the highlight, and what is also impressive is the off-roading capability, because we went through a lot of off-roading, and with 21 degrees approach angle, a 23 degree breakover angle, and a 23.6 degree departure angle on the all-wheel drive 9-speed automatic version, because all versions have different approach, brake and departure angles. These are very good numbers for a 7-seater, and it does off-road really well. The absolutely challenging track that we went through felt like a breeze almost, because there was hardly any input required from the driver. All you have to do is hold the steering wheel, keep your thumbs out, and let the car do most of the things. All you have to do is press certain buttons to get into rock crawling mode and hill descent, and that's it. Everything else, the articulation and everything that you're seeing right now in front of you, was done with such ease that it's just blows away your mind in how easily it does all of that, and you don't feel much inside the cabin. Is also something that Jeep excels really well at, and that legendary aspect of the Grand Cherokee, the Wrangler, is also seen in the Meridian. So Jeep had a very tough task at hand to make it feel like it's big SUVs, and Jeep has succeeded in that, and I think it has succeeded and surpassed most expectations in that aspect. We are really impressed with how it is very good on road, with its behavior, with its on-road dynamics, and the way it conquered a very challenging off-road track that it had to conquer. It did that really well, and with almost the level of ease that it did it is just truly surprising. So how would we like to sum up our time with the Jeep Meridian? Our first impressions are really solid, because this is one of the most sophisticated 7-seaters that is yet to come out in the market. Everything else in the segment, the 7-seater SUV segment, feels utilitarian in front of this. The posh interior, the fantastic design, the huge feature list, the endless off-road capability, the way it's built together, it feels very solid, very rugged, and very a true blue American SUV. It feels like a very solid car to drive on the road, off the road. It's excellent, and even if it's priced slightly higher, the posh interiors, the sophisticated design is just going to lure customers towards it, because there's nothing like this in the market right now. Jeep Meridian has carved a niche for itself. It did it with the Compass, it has done it with the Meridian again. There's no denying the fact that Jeep Meridian is going to set a new benchmark, and probably make some new foes, because this is a segment where everybody would like to come, because this is quite clearly one of those segments where the market always keeps on looking for something. Of course, there are certain manufacturers that compete in this segment, but they don't have something or the other that the Jeep offers, and that's the reason why the Meridian makes a lot of sense if you are going to be in the price bracket of 30-35 lakh rupees, you will not be able to get the Meridian out of your mind, because it just impresses you on all counts, and then you realize it's a Jeep, so it can do more. It has that lifestyle aspect behind it, and that will be the reason why you will cut out the check very happily, because you know for a fact that there is absolutely no room for disappointment, and the Meridian is definitely going to impress everybody in your family and everyone else who has a go in it or has a look at it. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is what we can tell you about the Meridian right now. We'll tell you more once we road test it, but like I said, our first impressions are very solid, so stay tuned, stay subscribed to our channel for more. Follow us on our website for everyday updates and on our social media. Until then,